Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House Jones. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Slife, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with the journal approved, seconded by Councilmember Hairston.
Are there any communications?
File number 840, 2024, oath of office for Dornette A. Drummond, Director of Department of Public Safety. File number 841, 2024, from Director Marty Kane, Department of Public Utilities. Notice of grant acceptance of $1 million from U.S. Department of the Army for the Bureau Avenue Sewer Replacement Project. File number 842, 2024, from Sarah Duggan, Senior Vice President of Operations, Salis Development. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Allerton Apartments in Ward 3. File number 843, 2024, oath of office for Glenn Parker III, member of Civilian Police Review Board. File number 844, 2024, from Court Administrator Russell R. Brown. Notice of grant application and acceptance of $5,000 from America 250 Ohio Commission Trillium Local Activity Grant for Youth Education about the Municipal Court. File number 845, 2024, from Director Dornette Drummond, Department of Public Safety. Notice of gift of acceptance of electric motorcycle and training from Land Moto, Inc. File number 846, 2024, from Cuyahoga County Executive Chris Ronayne, notice of selection by the county's 2024-2025 50-50 funding program for the resurfacing of a portion of Neff Road in Ward 8. File number 847, 2024, from Mayor Justin M. Bibb, appointment of Board of Directors of Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority. From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 860, 2024, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 4025 East 131st Street, Ward 2. File number 861, 2024, regarding an economic development transfer at 2831 Detroit Avenue, Ward 3. File number 862, 2024, regarding a new license application at 347 Euclid Avenue, Ward 3. File number 863, 2024, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 2625 East 55th Street, Ward 5. File number 864, 2024, regarding a new license application at 12308 Mayfield Road, Ward 6. File number 865, 2024, regarding a transfer of license application at 12308 Mayfield Road, Ward 6. File number 866, 2024, regarding a new license application at 2190 East 105th Street, Ward 6. File number 867, 2024, regarding a transfer of license application at 3575 West 117th Street, Ward 11. File number 868, 2024, regarding a stock application at 3314 Warren Road, Ward 17. File number 869, 2024, regarding a new license application at 4059 East 71st Street, Ward 12. File number 870, 2024, regarding a transfer of license application at 3670 West 130th Street, Ward 16. File number 871, 2024, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 4360 Lee Road, Ward 1.
Are there any condolence resolutions? Councilwoman House Jones.
Yeah, it's not a condolence, but it's just it needs to change. And communications 842-2024, that is actually Ward 7, and that might be why they never return a phone call to anything, because they maybe reach out to Councilman McCormick. But the Allerton isn't actually in Ward 7.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Are there any condolence resolutions?
Resolutions of condolence by Councilmember Jones for Cameron Elijah Turner, by Councilmember Hairston for Stephen Wayne Bailey, by Councilmember Starr for Wilbert Francisco Cobbs, by Councilmember House Jones for Michael Eugene Graves, by Councilmember Slife for Edward M. Najat, by Councilmember House Jones for Lamaxia Shea Vales, by Councilmember Hairston for Michael Contos, by Councilmember Jones for Alfonso Parker, by Councilmember Hairston for Monique Maggie, by all members of council for Officer Sean P. Calvey, by Councilmember Jones for Robert Thomas Frost.
Thank you. Are there any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other, Councilwoman House Jones.
Just a correction to the record, it's actually firefighter Sean Calvey, not officer firefighter Sean Calvey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, council members, please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. Are there any congratulatory resolutions?
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Griffin for Melissa Garrett, by Councilmember Jones for Reverend Dr. James Quincy, by Councilmember Slife for Savor the Moment on their 25th anniversary, by Councilmember Conwell for Eric Conwell, by Councilmember Griffin for Roderick Allen McCulley, by Councilmember Polensek for Irene Morrow, by Councilmember Polensek for Pamela Ann Dean, by Councilmember Polensek for Mayor Anthony Biassiata, by Councilmember Griffin for Robert P. Madison International, by Councilmember Griffin for Ramona Lowry Farrell, by Councilmember Hairston for Pastor D. Calvin Wade, by Councilmember Slife for West Park United Church of Christ, by Councilmember Starr for New Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church, by Councilmember Griffin for Lilly Baptist Church, by Councilmember Slife for Mary Ann Tomick, by Councilmember Polensek for Reverend Martin F. Polito, by Councilmember Slife for West Park Barber School, by Councilmembers Casey and Polensek for Tina Jones, by Councilmember Griffin for Chief Sheila Mason, by Councilmember House Jones for Dunham Tavern Museum and Garden, by Councilmembers Griffin and House Jones for Roger Carney. Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Conwell for National Order of Eastern Star, by Councilmember McCormack for the USS Cod, by Councilmember Griffin for HPOA Puerto Rican Parade, by Councilmember Gray for Carol Malone, by Councilmember Griffin for the Hispanic police officers.
First reading emergency ordinance is referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 805-2024 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request to amend Section 121.01 of the codified ordinances relating to offices considered departments. Ordinance 806-2024 by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Safety to apply for and accept funds from the Ohio Department of Public Safety Emergency Management Agency to reimburse Cleveland for costs incurred for eclipse-related events occurring between April 6th through April 9th, 2024. Ordinance 807-2024 by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Safety to apply for and accept a grant from the Ohio Attorney General for the Law Enforcement Diversion Program. Ordinance 809-2024 by Councilmembers McCormack, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request to change the name of a portion of West Roadway to Sherwin Way. Ordinance 810-2024 by Councilmembers McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Port Control to enter into one or more leases by way of concession with one or more entities for the operation of a valet parking service at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport for a period of 2 years with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 811, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Finance on behalf of the Clerk of the Cleveland Municipal Court to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Iron Mountain for the lease of space for the storage of records and the purchase of services related to the storage of records for a period of 1 year with 4 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance on behalf of the Clerk of Cleveland Municipal Court. Ordinance 812, 2024, by Council Members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, to supplement the codified ordinances by enacting new Section 129.296 relating to acceptance of gifts, sponsorships, or awards for the Department of Public Utilities. Ordinance 813, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, to supplement the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio by enacting new Section 571.93 relating to electrical vehicle charging and fees. Ordinance 814, 2024, by Council Members Spencer, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing Director of Capital Projects to ensure a permit to depot on Detroit to encroach into the public right-of-way of Detroit Avenue by installing, using, and maintaining a concrete stairway.
First reading emergency.
I'm sorry, I'm not
Oh,
done.
okay.
All right. Ordinance 815, 2024, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to Flats, South Cleveland to encroach into the public right-of-way of West 4th Street by installing, using, and maintaining a wooden stairway and wooden ADA accessible ramp with metal guard rails and handrails. Ordinance 816, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Port Control to exercise the first option to renew a contract with Siemens Industry for labor and materials necessary to maintain, repair, upgrade, and expand the existing Apogee building automation system. Ordinance 817, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Port Control to exercise the option to renew a contract with Johnson Controls Fire Protection for the implementation of the fire protection system replacement projects, including the necessary labor, materials, and programming for the Department of Port Control. Ordinance 818, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Port Control to exercise the first option to renew a contract with Fabrizi Trucking and Paving Company to provide for the rental of heavy-duty equipment, snow removal equipment, other equipment, and any necessary labor, materials, or equipment needed for snow and ice removal for the Department of Port Control. Ordinance 819, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more amendments to lease by way of concession agreements with various car rental companies that operate rental car concessions at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport to extend the term of the leases for 3 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 820, 2024, by Council Members Polensek and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Safety to enter into one or more contracts with Case Western Reserve for data collection and analysis for the Cleveland Police Crisis Intervention Team Co-Responder Program for the Department of Public Safety. Ordinance 821, 2024, by Council Members Conwell, Hairston, Bishop, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Works to enter into an agreement with the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation to co-sponsor the 2024 One World Day. Ordinance 822, 2024, by Council Members Casey and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more contracts with ST Engineering Telematics Wireless Limited for the hosting and technical support required to manage the Bright City lighting system, including cloud migration, remote control, and monitoring for the Division of Cleveland Public Power, Department of Public Utilities. Ordinance 823, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Human Resources to employ one or more consultants or one or more firms of consultants to provide professional services for pre-employment background screening and criminal checks for the Department of Human Resources for a one-year period with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Human Resources. Ordinance 824, 2024, by Councilmembers McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Port Control to employ one or more professional consultants to provide lobbying services to assist with legislative, regulatory, and policy issues with Cleveland Airport System for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by Director of Port Control. Ordinance 825, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Finance to employ one or more professional consultants, computer software developers, or vendors to acquire licenses and develop and implement one or more risk management software systems and provide services to install, design, train, implement, test, maintain, support, and other related services for a term of 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew. Ordinance 826, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts for supplemental custodial support services and labor needed to maintain the interior and exterior of buildings and grounds at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew. Ordinance 827, 2024, by Council Members Harsh, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the mayor and the commissioner of purchases and supplies to sell city-owned property no longer needed for the city's public use located on the northwest corner of Delora Avenue and Fulton Road to Civic Builders, LLC, for the purposes of residential development. Ordinance 828, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase by one or more contracts up to 13 passenger boarding bridges at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, including but not limited to related appurtenances and services, and the installation, removal, and disposal of outdated bridges at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. Ordinance 832, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Finance to enter into an amendment to a lease with Mid-City Limited for the lease of office and meeting space for the Community Police Commission located at 3631 Perkins Avenue. Ordinance 833, 2024, by Councilmembers Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Building and Housing on behalf of the Office of Sustainability to apply for and accept a sub-grant or sub-award for the University of Cincinnati for the Resilient and Efficient Codes Implementation Grant, otherwise known as the Building Performance Standards Grant, authorizing the Director to employ one or more professional consultants, computer software developers, or vendors to acquire software licenses and develop software to implement the grant, and to enter into various written, standard purchase, and requirement contracts needed to implement the grant. Ordinance 834, 2024, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Finance or Director of Public Works as appropriate on behalf of the Office of Sustainability to apply for and accept a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture, Forest Service for the Strategic Investments in Equitable Tree Canopy Growth and Preservation Grant, to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts for urban forestry services, to employ one or more professional consultants, and authorizing the appropriate director to enter into one or more contracts with various agencies, entities, or individuals to implement the grant. Ordinance 835, 2024, by Council Members Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Executive Director of the Community Police Commission to enter into one or more contracts with United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland for grant management services for a period of 1 year with one option to renew for an additional year, exercisable by the Executive Director of the Community Police Commission. Ordinance 836, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to employ one or more professional consultants to provide various on-call content training services to assist with employee skills and certifications for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 837, 2024, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to employ one or more real estate appraisers or one or more firms of real estate appraisers to provide professional services necessary to appraise real, personal, and other interests in real property on an as-needed basis for a period of 2 years with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 838, 2024, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Directors of Public Works and Capital Projects to convey and grant various easements to the Ohio Department of Transportation at a city-owned property within the Garfield Park Reservation in the city of Garfield Heights for the purpose of replacing the Broadway Avenue State Route 14 bridge and declaring the easement rights no longer needed for the city's use. Ordinance 857, 2024, by Councilmember McCormack, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with the Refugee Response DBA Source Cleveland or designee to provide economic development assistance to partially finance the building of the Roundstone Pavilion at the Ohio City Farm.
First reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 792, 2024, by Councilmember Palencic, to add the name Father Martin Polito Way as a secondary and honorary name to Rupel Road between St. Clair Avenue and Kipling Avenue. Ordinance 798, 2024, by Councilmember Spencer, designating Herman Avenue between West 65th and West 67th with a secondary and honorary designation as Pete Lenahan Way. Ordinance 794, 2024, by Councilmember McCormack, authorizing the issuance of a temporary sidewalk occupancy permit to Ann Hartnett to vend in Ward 3. Ordinance 808, 2024, by Councilmembers Slife, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to apply for and accept a Nature's Works grant from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources to make improvements into MPET Park and to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts to implement the grant. Ordinance 829, 2024, by Councilmembers Jones, Bishop, Gray, Starr, Griffin, House Jones, Conwell, and Hairston, authorizing the Director of the Department of Public Health to enter into an agreement with African American Wellness Walk for the Black Men's Wellness Day project through the use of wards 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 830, 2024, by Councilmember Spencer, authorizing Director of Department of Community Development to enter into agreement with Northwest Neighborhood CDC for the Green Space Maintenance Project through the use of Ward 15 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 848, 2024, by Councilmembers Starr, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, approving the addition of property located at 1835 Prospect Avenue East to the Northeast Ohio Advanced Energy District, accepting and approving a petition and plan from a property owner in the district identifying a special energy improvement project, declaring it necessary to conduct the special energy improvement project, providing for the assessment of costs of such energy improvement project, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into an energy project cooperative agreement and a special assessment agreement to implement the project. Ordinance 849, 2024, by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, to amend Section 2 of Ordinance 161, 2024, relating to a grant agreement with Manufacturing Works or its designee to provide economic development assistance for the Cleveland Industrial Retention Initiative program during 2024. Ordinance 850, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request to amend Sections 8 and 30 to 43 of Ordinance 194-2021 as amended relating to salaries for various classifications. Ordinance 851-2024 by Councilmembers Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to apply for and accept a grant from the United States Environmental Protection Agency for brownfields community-wide assessment, and authorizing the Director to employ one or more professional consultants to inventory, evaluate, and plan the redevelopment of priority brownfields along the East 93rd Street target area. Ordinance 852-2024 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance on behalf of Cleveland Municipal Court to apply for and accept a grant from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services through the Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for the court's 2024-25 Specialized Dockets Program, and authorizing the Director to enter into one or more contracts with various agencies, entities, or individuals to implement the grant's purposes. Ordinance 853-2024 by Councilmembers Conwell, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, approving the report of the Assessment Equalization Board on objections concerning estimated assessments with respect to the formation of the University Circle Special Improvement District of Cleveland and the Comprehensive Services Plan for Safety Services to be provided for the district, determining to proceed with the plan to provide services within the district, adopting the assessments, levying the assessments, and authorizing the city to enter into agreement with University Circle Incorporated. Ordinance 854-2024 by Councilmembers Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into one or more contracts with MuniCap, Inc. for professional services to provide financial advisor services on the recently established shore-to-core-to-shore tax increment financing district for the Department of Economic Development for a period of 2 years. Ordinance 855-2024 by Councilmembers Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works to employ one or more professional consultants to provide security services at various indoor and outdoor recreation facilities, including but not limited to recreation centers, outdoor pools, and various surrounding play areas for a period not to exceed 1 year, and to extend a contract with Safe Choice LLC. Ordinance 856-2024 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request to provide for the transfer and amendment of $534,829 within the Small Enterprise Fund. Ordinance 859-2024 by Councilmember Gray, authorizing and directing the Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to Ward 4 Councilmember Deborah Gray, a designee, to stretch 30 banners at various locations on Ward 4 for the period from August 1, 2024 to October 1, 2024, inclusive, publicizing Ward 4 welcome.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Slife, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Hairston.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
I did.
Okay. First reading ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 795-2024 by Councilmember McCormack, changing the use, area, and height districts of parcels of land south of Lorraine Avenue between West 52nd and West 50th Street, and and subjecting an area titled the Site Development Boundary to Section 333.02 of the Cleveland Zoning Code and attaching the approved site development plan. Ordinance 796, 2024 by Councilmember Slife, changing the use, area, and height districts of parcels of land north and south of Lorraine Avenue between West 150th Street and Norfolk Southern Railroad and extending the pedestrian, retail, and urban form overlay districts. Ordinance 797, 2024 by Councilmember Harsh, establishing a 0-foot mapped building setback along the easterly and westerly sides of Pearl Road between Germain Avenue and Archmere Avenue.
First reading emergency resolution referred for administrative review and committee review.
Resolution 831, 2024 by Councilmembers McCormack, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, declaring the intent to vacate a portion of West 48th Street Southwest and Ravine Court Southwest.
First reading emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 798, 2024 by Councilmember Hairston, objecting to a new C1 liquor permit at 831 East 140th Street. Resolution 799, 2024 by Councilmember Hairston, objecting to a new C1, C2 liquor permit at 13920 St. Clair Avenue. Resolution 800, 2024 by Councilmember Hairston, objecting to a new C1 liquor permit at 17229 Euclid Avenue. Resolution 801, 2024 by Councilmember Spencer, objecting to the renewal of a C2, C2X liquor permit at 7310 Lorraine Avenue. Resolution 802, 2024 by Councilmember Polensek, objecting to the renewal of a D1, D2, D3, D3A liquor permit at 12515-19 and 12523 St. Clair Avenue. Resolution 803, 2024 by Councilmember Starr, withdrawing objection to the transfer of stock of a C2, C2X liquor permit at 5346 Dolloff Road and repealing Resolution 238, 2024, objecting to said transfer. Resolution 804, 2024 by Councilmember Santana, withdrawing objection to a new C1 liquor permit to 3259 West 25th Street and repealing Resolution 2624, objecting to said permit. Resolution 839, 2024 by Councilmember Casey, declaring August 11, 2024 as Eric Carmen Day in the City of Cleveland. Resolution 858, 2024 by Councilmember Griffin, appointing one member of the Civilian Police Review Board.
Thank you. Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Slife, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Hairston.
Read them. Call the roll.
Yep. Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on adoption.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Second reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 333, 2024 by Councilmembers Conwell, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to UC City Center, LLC, to encroach into the public right-of-way of Chester Avenue by installing, using, and maintaining a parking monument sign. Ordinance 646, 2024 by Councilmembers Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, determining the method of making the public improvement of constructing capital repairs and capital improvements to the municipally owned facility located at 100 Alfred Lerner Way, authorizing one or more public improvement contracts for the making of the improvement, and professional services to design or in the alternative to reimburse or accept the gift of design and other services from the Cleveland Browns Stadium Company. Ordinance 707, 2024 by Councilmembers McCormack, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works to enter into an amendment to the Property Operations and Programming Agreement effective June 30th, 2016 with Downtown Cleveland, Inc., as an assignee of the Group Plan Commission to provide a restricted contribution to support the ongoing maintenance obligations at Public Square. Ordinance 708, 2024, by Council Members Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to apply and accept one or more grants from Team NEO to support activities associated with the reconstruction of Redwood Road, determining the method of making the public improvement, authorizing the director to enter into one or more public improvement contracts, professional services, and other agreements, and authorizing the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to acquire, accept, and record for right-of-way purposes and real property and easements necessary for the improvement. Ordinance 710, 2024, by Council Members Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Community Relations Board to enter into one or more contracts with Ohio Guidestone to conduct the 2024-27 Fresh Start Program for a term of 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew. Ordinance 711, 2024, by Council Members Kelly, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to Quan Am Temple to encroach into the public right-of-way of Bel Air Road by installing, using, and maintaining a roof overhang. Ordinance 712, 2024, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum to encroach into the public right-of-way of relocated Erie Side Avenue by installing and using an earth retention system. Ordinance 713, 2024, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to Trio Development to encroach into the public right-of-ways of Moltke Court and West 25th Street by using, maintaining pre-existing walls, stairs, and building overhang. Ordinance 714, 2024, by Council Members McCormack, Bishop, and Hairston by departmental request, authorizing Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to TTE Real Estate Group to encroach into the public right-of-way of an unnamed short street between West 7th and West 10th Street by using and maintaining an existing driveway for access parking and handicapped access parking. Ordinance 715, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Finance to enter into an agreement with the law firm of Kegler, Brown, Hill, and Ritter for state lobbying services for the City of Cleveland for a period of 1 year with one option to renew for an additional year, exercisable by the Director of Finance. Ordinance 743, 2024, by Councilmembers House Jones, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 406, 2024, relating to the sale of certain city-owned properties no longer needed for the city's public use located at 1848 East 101st Street and 9910 Woodward Avenue to Gordon Crossing Land Company for the purpose of future development. Ordinance 744, 2024, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request to amend the title in Sections 1, 5, 5A, and 5B, and 6 of Ordinance 683, 2021, and to supplement the ordinance by adding new Section 5D relating to the Lakefront Pedestrian Bridge and authorizing contracts. Ordinance 745, 2024, as amended by Councilmembers Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Economic Development to enter into one or more agreements with Cleveland Foundation to establish, manage, and implement an endowment fund for the acquisition, aggregation, and remediation of sites located throughout the city, and to enter into one or more amendments the services agreement with Cuyahoga County Land Reutilization Corporation and the Site Readiness for Good Jobs Fund to transfer funds from the services agreement and payment responsibilities to the Sites Fund and any other changes necessary to implement this ordinance. Ordinance 746, 2024, as amended by Council Members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request to remove certain parcels of property from the Shore to Core to Shore TIF district created by Ordinance 38/2024, to declare certain improvements to real property to be a public purpose and exempt from taxation pursuant to Section 5709.41 of the Revised Code for an additional period of 30 years, to require the owners of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of the exempt taxes, to determine that the real property is in a blighted area of an impacted city, to determine that the owners of the improvements will make service payments in lieu of taxes in an amount that will exceed $1,500,000 in a future year, to extend the exemption of the taxation pursuant to Section 5709.51 of the Revised Code for an additional 15-year period, and authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a tax increment financing agreement with Cleveland LD LLC or its designee to redevelop Cleveland's riverfront.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Slife, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Hairston.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormick, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 16 yeas.
Call the roll.
On passage.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. On 3/33/2024, one recusal. The rest. Oh, okay. All right. On 7/44/2024, 1 nay. On all others, 16 yeas.
Thank you. All right. Are there any introductions? Are there any introductions? Seeing no introductions, are there any announcements? Any announcements? Councilman McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to announce, I saw this through the Cleveland Food Bank, and I hope our press team can help get this out. For individuals that had 4 hours or more of a power outage that are on SNAP benefits, can apply for a reimbursement card for that month, and they'll get it within 10 days for the food that they lost out of the refrigerator from the power outage. So maybe get that out to our folks, our residents. 4 hours or more of a power outage, you can get your SNAP card replaced for food that you lost.
Thank you. And I know it was a tragic day yesterday for a lot of families. I hope that we can get as much information out as possible. And I know that, where's Chief Tia? I don't think Mike Polensek is going to let you get out of here until he has a conversation with you about what we're looking like with power, okay? All right. Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I just want to let you know tomorrow we're doing the music keynote to the city, recognizing Aaron Carmen and the Raspberries. It'll be tomorrow, 12 o'clock is when the gates open over at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then the ceremony will start at 12:30. We're expecting over 400 people for the event who've pre-registered. We'll be showing for the first time ever, a Raspberries concert, their second last concert ever in high definition. So anybody who's not doing anything tomorrow, 12:30, head on over to the Rock Hall. Thank you.
Now, Casey, you know you got some youngins and millennials in here, and everybody doesn't know who the Raspberries are. All right. All right. Are there any other announcements? Any other announcements? All right. Seeing no other announcements, is there any miscellaneous? Any miscellaneous? Councilwoman House Jones.
Thank you, Council President. So everybody should have received this file number 869-13C, and Oh, goodness. This is the proposal that Councilman Starr, Councilman Hairston, and myself have been working on to really work to have our casino funds be more equitable in their use. To give context, it was file, it was 133-2023 that was passed in February of 2023. And some type of way, this file 869-13 ended up in the legislation, which was not the intent of 133-2023. Since that point, we have been having endless conversations with the administration, with the law department, with the finance department. And part of this stuff is like even looking at what happened yesterday. When it came to the trees, we have been asking for support and resources with the limited dollars of casino dollars to cut trees. The devastation that people are feeling today, a lot of this could have been avoided if people would have worked with us in this building. But people just choose not to ignore what we're saying. You cannot reimburse what you don't have.
Yeah, that's true.
You cannot do it.
Okay.
And now we're going to end up spending significantly much more because we could not get the cooperation in this building. So what you have in front of you, and I don't care, we are just at the point where we are tired of going through the rigmarole of back and forth with the law department, finance department, whoever. This is basic, it's not rocket science. We are explicitly laying out all the things that we would like to use casino dollars up, identifying a threshold where it's not on a reimbursement basis if the need is there, so that we can help support community members. This is not that hard. We are giving every council member this documentation because by the time we meet the week of September 9th, whoever committee it needs to go to the committee, have a conversation, so by September 16th, it can be passed and we can move forward and we can support community members who need it. This is not that hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and I will tell you, you have my commitment to make sure that whoever is looking at this, that we will get it out of the box and we will make sure that we will get it to the proper committee for discussion. All right? Councilman, I had Starr first and then you, Councilman Conwell.
Good evening, council members. Just to echo a little bit off some of the things that Councilwoman House Jones has said. For the last year and a half, myself, Councilman Harrison, and House Jones been going back and forth to be able to figure out just how can we actually use casino funds. It's always, yay, this person's opinion, this person's thought, just trying to get something in concrete to bring it up to date on how you use casino funds. So when you look at page 2, we outlined almost 50 different items, ways to use it so we can be able to get it. I too get all the calls about social service requests, different ways we can help, and oftentimes we're being told no. Then you get the Community Development Corporation saying no. Next thing you know, you're going back to the resident like, we got a couple dollars, but you just can't help them. And just also from that is, we have to make sure we're in the business of helping our people. And sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes we got to figure it out. And I think this ordinance that we just introduced today and walked on will definitely do those different things. So I look forward to having that conversations with some of the colleagues. Some of the things that we've said and talked to offline, we did include in there. But just on having that robust conversation is going to be interesting, and I believe it's something great. And I will definitely close with a few things. Yesterday, obviously to the administration, Mayor Bibb, obviously to all of us, we were hit with something that we did not know what was going on. I'm a Cleveland boy. I've been in Cleveland my whole life. I didn't felt it. I know Dean Polenzek felt a couple of storms back in the 70s and probably the 40s as well, but we never had these tornadoes for us young folks. So we really didn't know what to expect. When I got home, my power was still out. I drove up all the way to East 110th. Southeast, power was out. I called council president. I'm like, man, power out everywhere. He like, go to bed, it's gonna be out. and within that, me being more frustrated that he told me to go to bed, I picked up the phone and called Councilman Casey. He said, yeah, it's not gonna be over to the morning. so when I was sleeping, I woke up at 4 o'clock, some power had came back on and started noticing. But one of the things I did notice is this is the beginning of the month. And a lot of people who get food stamps, government assistance, they went shopping already. So now you started thinking about that time frame of hearing 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, food is expired. And a lot of these people living on fixed income do not have no additional food or ways to get funding to be able to take care of their family because they spent their money already as far as the food for the month. So I definitely want to, see how we can look and figure out what other dollars is available for us to really invest into Cleveland Public Power. They is our #1 energy source provider. We've heard Councilman Casey advocate this since his time been on council. How do we get them enough resources so they can be able to respond the way they need, have all the equipment, the infrastructure, just really making sure we invest in them, because 3, 4, 5 days without having power is life or death for some folks. And then also you got to think about our seniors who are on fixed income and they may be experiencing this. What does generators look like? What does it look like with our power out? I know in Ward 5 over the years, since I've been on council, I've experienced different weather, different outbreaks, and guess what happened? When the powers go out, everybody's food is expire, and then people and residents continue. So I want us to have a real deep thought, open mind. How do we get funding to Cleveland Public Power? What ways do we do it? And how do we help those in need? So thank you all, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you. Councilman Kevin Conwell.
Thank you, and I'll be good. You know, last year around this time, the same thing happened, and it was a storm, and I'm driving my neighborhood, and I called the administration. Matter of fact, your administration, and you guys did a good job. You got right on top of it. I found some of my residents on Pierpont, one of my residents. He was, a tree had fell down and blocked him and his family. It was around 99th part of Pierpont. And I reached out to Randy Scott, and over there in Mayor Bibb's administration, they brought heavy vehicles, and they removed the trees and got them out. So I'm saying that to say this: I'll be driving tomorrow, and I'm going to reach out to the administration to get things done, and I hope they respond the same way they responded last year. You know, and my residents told me off of Jesse Jackson Place, a lot of trees fell, and I reached out this morning to Vince Robinson, and he said that the administration did a good job by removing trees over there right off East 105th Street, and that's cool beans. That's a good thing. I want to switch gears to the gambling casino money. It's disappointing. Matter of fact, as you know, Famico's Foundation, Councilmember Anthony Harrison, from 21, John sent me an email from 21, John and Alifo, 21, 22, 23, and 24. But he got our food stamp, our food cards, gift cards. Administration haven't sent him a check yet. So he's in a deficit. So even if you say it's for you to get reimbursed, Council Lady, and the administration say you're going to get reimbursed, 4 years, John and Alifo from Miko's Foundation have not been reimbursed. He sent me the email on it, and that's not good. And it's not only with Famico's Foundation, it's with a lot of 501c3s, as well as not-for-profits. When we reach out and we use the gambling casino money, Councilmember Starr and Councilwoman House, it's not guaranteed that they're going to get reimbursed. It's not guaranteed that they will get the money back, and that's inefficient. You're going to crush them. You're going to kill some of the CDCs. The only good thing about with Flamencos is that they have in their endowment millions of dollars. But if you don't give them their money, they should get their money. It should be, if they put it in a certain time period, they should be reimbursed. They should be reimbursed. If you say yes, you should mean it, you should be efficient, and you should give the money to the CDCs. I want to do a book bag giveaway. He sent me, he said, Councilman, I can't help you. My money is running short. If you do gambling casino money, I'm not guaranteed, this is what John and Alifo sent to me, I'm not guaranteed that the city will reimburse me. It's been since 21, and they have not reimbursed me. So I reached out to Martini Poor Center, and I asked Director McKenzie there, I said, do you have any bags left from last time you did the last time you turned around and you had a book bag giveaway? She said, Councilmember, I should have at least 50. I said, I'll get them from you tomorrow. Then I called UCI and asked them for help also. I don't know, I can't use it. If you say you're going to help people and do it, you should execute, and you should do it. But we could pass your Peace Council Member Star, and we could pass it, Council Lady House, but is it worth what you're saying on paper? That's what I want to know. 4 years, and they have not been reimbursed. 4 years. And a lot of 501c3s and not-for-profit are saying that. And I can tell you this, in my conclusion, some CDCs can go under because they need to be reimbursed. And some of them go from funding to funding to funding, and they don't have an endowment. They don't have contingency reserves. They can go under. But if you don't give them their money, then how can they pay their payrolls? How can they purchase resources that they need? They can't, and they'll go under. And it's, you know what? You know what? It would be our fault. And that's not good, because if the CDCs go under, what happens on the other not-for-profits, then the other people, they turn around, and our communities, they don't benefit. You gotta be efficient. You gotta execute. So the paper, I support you on the council, lady, but is it worth what you legislating? Is it worth it? Because if they're gonna say the same way, and that culture of not executing is the same way, that's not good. That's not good at all. So I'm there. I like what I see, but you gotta execute. And that's where I'm at. So thank you very much.
Thank you. As we adjourn, Councilman Polensik, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a set of rules that we try to set a 4-minute time limit. I've been very generous today because everybody, this is our only sub-meeting in August, but I do want to remind everybody to try to stay within the time schedules because that's the rules that we voted on, okay? Councilman Polensik.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, Madam Clerk, and to the administration, Mayor, and his team. I, too, want to concur with Councilman Conwell about the reimbursement. It's a problem for all of us who utilize Flamencos, a wonderful organization, and John Andolifo tries to do the best job that he can for us. But I want to touch upon the storm damage. All of us understand the severity of the storm that came through on Tuesday. That's not the issue. It's the response. And then the question is, as I'm sitting here getting these emails on my phone and texts, the constant reoccurring question is, why aren't we declaring the city as a disaster area? And asking, I don't know if we appeal to the governor for that, or if the county has to do that, but we have businesses that are still out, especially restaurants and other food service businesses that their food is gone. Unless they can find a place to store their food, that food is history, just like within our residents' homes. And I'm glad that Councilman McCormick mentioned it. And again, I'm hoping that the administration and our own staff put that out, those that are on SNAP. But that's the reoccurring question. The trees that are on people's homes, that have damaged their homes, that are maybe underinsured or not adequately insured. The damage inflicted people's properties, businesses that are shut down, people who've had to go into hotels, as I'm getting those as well. In fact, my own son is in a hotel right now because of not having power on his street. So I would ask respectfully of the administration if we could find out if the declaration of a disaster if there would be any funds available for our businesses, for our citizens, because we're hearing right now it could be the weekend for the power to be restored. That's what I'm hearing from Cleveland Public Power. I'm hoping, we're all hoping it's going to be sooner than that, but if it is the weekend, those businesses that are in the food service delivery, restaurants, the butcher shops, et cetera, that are all panicked, their food is gone. Their livelihood has been affected, and it affects the bottom line because tax dollars are being lost, and residents cannot function. I've got, again, emails from people who've had to stay home, that had to call in that they're not coming to work because they can't either get out of their home because trees down, or the fact that they're worried if they do leave their home, what could happen to their property. So again, I would respectfully ask the administration to look into the issue of declaration, the disaster declaration, if that is to the county, if the county executive has to do that, if the mayor has, whoever, but we need to look at what the ramifications. Are there benefits to our businesses and our citizens? That's what I would respectfully ask. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. I know it was a traumatic day for a lot of people. We're going to keep on working with communications. I have reached out and asked the administration and Mr. Williams and others, are there key things that we need to be communicating with the public? So hopefully our two communication teams will continue to give us the information to get out to our public, okay? All right. That being said, Madam Clerk, please excuse the absences.
By Councilmember Slife, that the absence of Councilmember Spencer is hereby excused, seconded by Councilmember Hairston.
Thank you. Council is adjourned to the call of the chair. The next meeting of council will be on September 9, 2024. Thanks, everybody.